Question 13. The table shows the heights in centimeter of a sample of 30 Chinstrap penguins and a sample of 30 Humboldt penguins. Now this is the table. You have the height first, you have the Chinstrap penguin, and you have the Humboldt penguin. You need to understand the table. This is saying for the first of the group data, the height in the first group is greater than or equals to 60. That means it includes 60 but less than 62. So it means maximum height you have here is 61. The opening part means the greater than. The pointed part is the less than. On the second line, you have the height is greater than or equals to 62 but less than 64. And down that way. Then you have for the first group, for the Chinstrap penguin, you have none of them are within this height. For the Humboldt penguin, you also have none of its species of this height on this line. Then we go to 62 to less than 64. We have one for the Chinstrap and two for the Humboldt penguin. And you go down that way. That's the table. Now, with a basic understanding of this table, we can answer the first question. Question A says, the frequency polygon for the Chinstrap penguin is drawn on the grid. Take a look at the graph and study with the key. Now the key says the Chinstrap penguin is represented with dotted or dashed lines, while the Humboldt penguin is represented with a continuous straight line, or you can call it a straight line, relative to the dotted lines. And it says the frequency polygon of the Chinstrap penguin is drawn on the grid, represented by the dotted lines. We have it go this way and write down this way. They've done it using the frequency. Now we have the table on this side. From this first statement, they've completed the frequency polygon for the Chinstrap penguins. We can use this table to understand what is being done. Between 60 and 62, including 60 itself, you have none. That's where you have these 0 points. Now what they did was they used the midpoint. That's they added 60 plus 62, then divided by 2. You get 61. So for the first one, you have 61. The second one has 62 and 64. You add them together and divide by 2, finding the midpoint at 63. And so on down that way. In between 64 and 66 is 65. Then you go down and complete the rest. But looking at the table, 61 for the Chinstrap is 0. You have 60, you have 62. In between both of them, you have 61. And you have mark on 0 as regards the number of penguins at height 61. Then the next is 63. 63 is in between 62 and 64. And there you have one Chinstrap penguin. The mark was made here. And if you look at the y-axis, where you have the number of penguins, you see that you have 0, 2, 4. In between 0 and 2, you have 1. It's like 0, 1, 2. And then in between 2 and 4, you have 3. 0, 1, 2, 3, 4. You have to understand the graph. For the second line, you have 63 to 1. So that's why you have it in between 0 and 2, you have it 1. Then you have the third, which is 65. Between 64 and 66, you have 65. And on 65, you have 2 for the Chinstrap penguin. Now, between height 64 and 66, you have 65. You see, 65 is at 2. That's marked. And that's how the frequency polygon of the Chinstrap penguin was plotted. Merely looking at the table, you see for the Humboldt penguins, it's not complete. So we need to complete it, but let's complete the question first. The later part of the question says, complete the frequency polygon for the Humboldt penguins on the grid. Now, to make our work easy, it's better we find all the midpoints of the heights. We have 61 for the first, for the second is 63, for the third is 65. We are picking this. In between 66 and 68, you have 67. You can add them together and divide by 2, you still get the same result. You have 68 and 70. In between 68 and 70, you have 69. Standard, you add them together and divide by 2. Between 70 and 72, this is easy because there's only one integer in between them. So between 70 and 72, you have 71. Then for the last, you have between 72 and 74, you have 73. Or you add them together and divide by 2. So let's plot our points. Then we join them to complete the frequency polygon of the Humboldt penguins. we have it going this way. They've done the first one, that's at height 61 centimeters, you have 0 Humboldt penguin. Then 63, you have 2, that's in between 62 and 64, you have 2, this is on 2. Then the next is for 65 centimeters, you have 15. 65, it goes up to 15. If you trace it to the y-axis, you will see that you have 14 and 16. In between 14 and 16, you have 15. That's why the mark is made right in the middle. Then you have 67, you have 7 of them. That means you go in between 66 and 68, you have 67. You go up to 7, it's at 7. You go up, here is 6, and above 6 is 8. So 7 is in between. You make your mark here. Next is 69. For 69, you have 5 Humboldt penguins. That's 69. In between 68 and 70, you have 69. You have 5 of them. You go up, this is 2, 4, and 6. In between 4 and 6, you have 5. So you plot it right in the middle. Then you go for the next, which is 71. You just have only one Humboldt penguin at 71 centimeters. So you go to 71. In between 70 and 72, you have 71. And it's at 1. This is 0. And this first line is 2. So 1 is in between 0 and 2. So you have it here. Then the last, you have 73 centimeters. For the Humboldt, you have none. So at 73, you mark none, that's 0. You've made all your points. Now you can join them as done with the frequency polygon of the Chinstrap penguins. So you join the points 2 at a time with straight lines. We've actually completed the frequency polygon for the Humboldt penguins on the grid. So this is the answer to the first question. That's question A. 13b says, tick to show if the statement about these samples of 30 penguins is true, false, or there is not enough information to know. These are the statements. We have to tick one box for each of these questions. The first question says, the Chinstrap penguins are taller on average than the Humboldt penguins. Is it true? Is it false? Or not enough information to know? Using the table. Now let's go to the table and see if our question can be answered using the table. If you look at the table, to get the taller ones, you have to come to the bottom. That's where you have the highest heights. That's between 72 and 74. Then you go up. Let's go from down up. Now for penguins between 72 and less than 74, you have none on both. Between 70 and less than 72, you have 9 Chinstrap and 1 Humboldt. You have more Chinstrap as compared to the Humboldt, which is less. The third line from the bottom, you have between 68 and 70. You have 10 for the Chinstrap and just 5 for the Humboldt. That means for the Chinstrap, you still have more within this height. If you go up further, you have between 66 and 68. That means the height is going down as you are going up. You have 8 Chinstrap and 7 Humboldt. There are still more Chinstraps than Humboldt penguins. Now, between 64 and 66, you have 2 of Chinstrap, but you have 15 of Humboldt, which shows that you have more Humboldt between the range of 64 to less than 66. If you go up further, between 62 and less than 64, you have 1 Chinstrap and you have 2 Humboldt penguins. To the last, you have between 60 to less than 62, you have 0 for both. So if you look at this table, you will notice that the Chinstrap penguins are more around the taller heights. That is from 66 to 72. You have 8, 10, and 9, as compared to the Humboldt penguins, where you have 7, 5, and 1. But you have more of the Humboldt penguins clustered at shorter heights, that's from 66 up to 60. It shows us that you have more Chinstrap within the height between 66 and 72, while for the Humboldt, you have more of it at the upper part, which are the lesser heights between 66 up to 62. You can see the difference. So for the first question that says the Chinstrap penguins are taller on average than the Humboldt penguins, it's true based on the table. You see, there are more to this side. I hope you understand. The second question says the shortest of the penguins is a Chinstrap penguin. This is where you have the shortest. The shortest height is supposed to be between 60 and less than 62, but you don't have a Chinstrap or an Humboldt penguin within that height range. We go to the second, where you have the next short height. You have between 62 to less than 64. That's 62, 63. That's penguins with heights of 62 and 63. You have one Chinstrap and you have two Humboldt penguins. But he said the question is the shortest of these penguins. You have just a short penguin under the Chinstrap penguin, then two under the Humboldt penguins. But this table doesn't really show us the actual or the precise height. It just gave us a range of their heights, and it might actually be that the Chinstrap penguin is the tallest of these three on this particular height level. It might be at 63, while the Humboldt penguins here might be 62, 62. And since you don't have a more detailed information from this table, you choose not enough information to know that you choose this. For the last question, none of the penguins have a height greater than 72. The inequality sign is the technicality in this question. This is less than 72. Look at your sign. You can see it's less than 72. It's on the last line you have height greater than 72, because it says the height is greater than or equals to 72 but less than 74. This is where you have the height greater than 72. And if you look at it, there's no Chinstrap penguin and also no Humboldt penguin. So the answer to this question, which says none of the penguins have a height greater than 72, is true.